Massachusetts. Yeah. Hello, Susan and Kate and Pauline. Pauline from Newcastle, the UK. Hello, Bronwyn in BC. Nick Ward in the UK. James Harkless, Kathy in Virginia. Fred Stolens in Maryland. Luda and Mark, Victoria, BC. Hello, Dick and Kathy in BC. And Bonnie in Idaho. And Pauline and Colleen. I must have missed one. And also, hello to Deli and Deborah and Anne in Maryland. Hello to Linda in Massachusetts, Kate in New York, and Annette. Hello, Annette. Let's see if we've got, oh my gosh, you guys are doing great. Hello to James. Let's see if I've missed any. Hindi, Bob, Carol in Connecticut, Gwyn, Kate in New York, Linda in Massachusetts, Annette, Shelly, Christy in Western Mass, Kate in Florida, chilly Florida, Sandy in North Carolina. Hello, Gary, and hello, Sis, Tufara. Hello, Amos. Hello, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be here with you all. And let's do one more big happy wave to Facebook Live. Hey! All right. I'm just so happy to see you all. I'm hosting today. I'm Lissa Schneckenberger coming to you from Brattleboro, Vermont, and we have a special song guest today I'm really excited about. We are going to be hearing from Joe Jenks. Hi,
Hey, Lisa.
Joe.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm
I'm
good.
so excited to hear you and very excited about your new album and all kinds of good stuff. Do you want to start right out with some singing? You want to
Sure.
jump
Uh,
in?
I'm going to dive right in today with a song that I wrote with school kids in Waukegan, Illinois, Waukegan North Elementary, about 3 years ago. And I got a marvelous phone call one day. I thought somebody was punking me at first, but I got this phone call that said, "Hey, would you like to come into our school and write songs with fourth and fifth graders, all pertaining to social justice heroes in U.S. history?" It was like, yeah, kind of what I do. Sure. I wasn't sure if they were for real or not, and it turned out they were. And I ended up spending 9 days over 3 months working with fourth and fifth graders. But I walked into one classroom in particular, and they were all fired up about the suffragettes and about Susan B. Anthony and about all kinds of folk that were involved in the process of securing voting rights. And it just feels really germane because we're in a time when voting rights are again under attack, and we have to do everything we can to, keep up the spirit and remind people that, folks have literally died for the right to vote in this country and in Canada. And so it's really important that we honor that we honor the sacrifices of previous generations, and that we exercise the power that we have in society, and we vote, and we encourage other people to do the same. That doesn't always mean you're going to get what you want, but the only way to guarantee that you don't get what you want is that you don't participate. So I was glad that a group of fifth graders had a pretty rock solid handle on that notion. And this is what we came up with. You've got to vote. You've got to vote. Don't stand on the sidelines. Don't be remote. No, it's your right to exercise your power. So get yourself involved, go out and vote. I think Jaden's putting the lyrics up for us. Try that. You've got to vote. You've got to vote. You've got to vote. You've got to vote. Don't stand on the sidelines. Don't stand on the sidelines. Don't be remote. You know it's your right. You know it's your right to exercise your power. So get yourself involved. Go out and vote. Yeah, for those on Facebook, let's sing that once more. You've got to vote. You've got to vote. Don't stand on the sidelines. Don't be remote. You know it's your right to exercise your power. So get yourself involved. Go out and vote. You've got to vote. You've got to vote. Don't stand on the sidelines. Don't be remote. No, it's your right to exercise your power. So get yourself involved. Go out and vote. Susan B. Anthony said women have the right to vote in elections. We will stand and fight. She was arrested. She showed courage and might. She was brave and said the revolution is in sight. You've got to vote. You've got to vote. Don't stand on the sidelines. Don't be remote. You know it's your right to exercise your power. So get yourself involved. Go out and vote. When we vote, we get to choose leaders who will represent our communities and views. But if you don't participate and let your voice be heard, it may not turn out how you want. Your vote is your word. You've got to vote. You've got to vote. Don't stand on the sidelines. Don't be remote. You know it's your right to exercise your power. So get yourself involved. Go out and vote. The Voting Rights Act passed in 1965. People of all colors, of every walk of life, have the right to choose. We get to have our say. And how to run the country, we will bring the greater day. You've got to vote. You've got to vote. Don't stand on the sidelines. Don't be remote. You know it's your right to exercise your power. So get yourself involved. Go out and vote. One more time. You've got to vote. You've got to vote. You've got to vote. Don't stand on the sidelines. Don't be remote. You know it's your right to exercise your power. So get yourself involved. Go out and vote. Yes, get yourself involved. Go out and vote. Yes, get yourself involved. Go out and vote.
Yeah.
Yes.
Woo! I love it, Joe. That's just fabulous. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's always a delight working with young people whose minds are absolutely awakened. And that was a very special workshop because the whole notion was that we were going to write about social justice heroes. And I learned about some folk that I didn't know about. And I was able to teach some of the young folk about some people in U.S. history and Canadian history that they didn't know about. And it was really fun because, you know, they came up with a bunch of ideas, and sometimes that would help them sort of reach for broader poetry within their core, you know, intellectual concept. And sometimes they'd come to me with entire lines just totally intact. You know, we wrote one song about Dr. George Washington Carver with one of the kids, and she went out and found a quote directly from Carver that fit perfectly into the scanch and the rhyme scheme of the song. And she's like, would this maybe work? I was like, oh yeah, that will work beautifully.
that's amazing.
Education is the key to unlock the golden door of freedom.
Education and creativity. I love it. It's just, You know, that's my vision for the world too.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that was fabulous. I love it. Very catchy. Is that one by any chance? So no, I know you have a new album. I hope everyone has it. It's very amazing. It's awesome. I love it. Um, and will you tell us more about it?
Sure. I'll play a song off that album in a minute. It's called The Coming of the Years, and it's my 17th project in my career. Some shorter albums, some full length albums. But I finally decided as a dual US Irish citizen that it was time that I do an album that leaned a little more in toward my Irishness, whatever that means, at least my understanding of it, which has been a lifelong exploration. There's a lot of what people on this side of the ocean think is Irish. My granddad would have called patty whackery. Like it was, he eventually settled in Chicago, and he thought his idea of St. Patrick's Day was like, hey, have an extra piece of bacon, go to mass in the morning, have a nice dinner with your family in the evening. That was St. Patrick's Day.
Right. They're the same.
And yeah, and the notion of using it as an excuse for debauchery and dyeing a river green was a little bit over the top for him. So I think I had a sense growing up that there was a difference between what a lot of people on this continent thought was Irish and what was authentically Irish. But it's been a lifelong process of exploring that. And so the new album really is a deep dive into that. It's inclusive of songs that I wrote while on tour in Ireland, as well as songs written by various colleagues of mine, whose songs really just dovetailed with the themes that I was exploring of the Celtic diaspora, the Irish, the Scottish, the Welsh, I mean, it isn't a new theme for me. I've explored some of these ideas on previous albums, but this is the first time that I put a whole album together themed around this, and it's the first time I've been brave enough to record any of the really traditional Irish pieces as well.
Well, I'm glad you did, honestly.
Yeah, thank you. And I'll note that Lissa plays fiddle on that record beautifully. Um, and Hans Araki is an amazing woodwind, flute, and tin whistle player and shakuhachi player. And he plays on almost every song. John Roberts on concertina, and Shannon Lambert Ryan does some singing. She's with the band Runa. That's her group. And Cheryl Prashker, who many of you know, is a percussionist also with Runa. And so this whole album was just kind of a bit of a miracle. It all came together in like 6 weeks. I mean, from the time I tracked my first note to the time, the master was off to the copy house was like 6 weeks. And
That's amazing.
I did all my recording at home, and then I, hit the road and went to Maine to capture Hans is playing, and then to Brattleboro to see Lissa, and we set up in her place, and then to Schenectady to see John Roberts, and Cheryl and Shannon were working independently in their own spaces and just sent me tracks, and went to DC to work with Charlie Pilzer down there, and we stitched the quilt together, and it was great.
It's so cool to hear it all come together, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think for what it's worth, for those musicians out there, one of the joys of this record is that I didn't overthink it. My last record of original songs, I think I spent 3 years working on. And there's some elements of it that are just really refined and really polished. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's more musical. And part of what I've realized is that there's a reason why a lot of the old jazz cats would set up for, 2 or 3 days in a studio, record a bunch of stuff live, take the best of it and call it an album. They would do the something sessions, whatever studio or whatever city they were in, and they didn't mess around. Like, it was really about capturing live music and recognizing that sometimes accidents are better than what you rehearsed. Sometimes there are mistakes that emerge in the process that are just sublime. And if you try and pound it too closely to your will as a producer, you can hammer the life out of a record. And so one of the things that I really adore about this record is, I think for the first time in my career, even though it's my 17th project, I think for the first time in my career, I managed to make a studio album that absolutely feels live. It feels like everybody was playing together. It feels like we just, sat in your living room in Brattleboro and said, hey, let's play some music. And I love that. I love that that's how it turned out. So let me play a song off of that for you. I gotta switch instruments.
Will you be taking any of these songs over to Ireland? You gonna do some release shows over there?
I was in Ireland this summer.
Uh-huh.
Indeed, I was over there the first few weeks of July, and that was great. And I was also up in Ontario for the Goderich Celtic Roots Festival, and that was sort of my coming out party professionally as a Celt. You know, I think I've just been cautious about it because I want to work more than just in the month of March. You know, I
Right.
didn't want to
Yes.
get pigeonholed. It's like, oh well, you know, we'll program Joe for March. You know.
Understood. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that happened to me for a little part of my career.
Yeah, yeah. So, anyway, here's a song off the album, but it's a little bit of a twist because the tie-in is that James Connolly, the Irish revolutionary, spent 9.5 years in the United States. While he was here, he joined the Wobblies, the industrial workers of the world, and he spent time both in the U.S. and in Canada. Studying organizing models that he brought back to Ireland, and they played a key role in the Easter Uprising of 1916, after which he was executed. But those organizing models continued in Ireland and were part of the War of Independence from 1919 to 1921. So when we talk about women's suffrage in the United States and Canada, you know, at the same time that that was going on here, the Irish were fighting for an entirely independent republic. And at the inception of the republic in 1921, it was written that women automatically had the right to vote. There was no fight for women's suffrage in the republic from the inception. Women had the right to vote. And, you know, so I think about James Connolly being on this side of the ocean and his participation in labor culture here and his participation in the evolution of labor culture and class consciousness in Ireland and all of the things that that contributed to an independent Irish republic. So that's the tie-in here and why this has a bit of an Irish feel, but I wrote it for Mitch Podolak in Winnipeg in honor of the 100th anniversary of the Winnipeg General Strike, Winnipeg 1919. The year was 1919 and all around the world people started marching with their victory flag unfurled. We've shed our blood on battlefields, enslaved in deep dark mines. We rally to the banner, red and roses, it's our time. Come gather fellow workers and raise your voices strong. We rise today in Winnipeg to sing our victory song. From Europe and to Canada, across the USA, we cry out for justice and for fair and equal pay. All sisters and brothers and all workers here unite. We strive for one big union and defend our common rights. Come gather fellow workers and raise your voices strong. We rise today in Winnipeg to sing our victory song. From Halifax and Thunder Bay to the Fraser River shore, Seattle, San Francisco, and Chicago hear us roar. From Dublin on, Boston on to Dublin town are heard the people's cries. No more to drudge and idler when the workers organize. Come gather fellow workers and raise your voices strong. We rise today in Winnipeg to sing our victory song. Though some of us were born of means and others not a dime, we spend our lives in service to a cause we hold sublime. All laborers in commonwealth, now let our voices say that one way or another we will bring the greater day. Come gather fellow workers and raise your voices strong. We rise today in Winnipeg to sing our victory song. So here's to Big Bill Haywood, Mother Jones, and Eugene Debs, along with Emma Goldman and Joe Hill and all the Reds, and all those fellow travelers who beckoned to the call. An injury to one of us is an injury to all. Come gather, fellow workers, and raise your voices strong. We rise today in Winnipeg to sing our victory song. We may not win our struggle here, but sure as hell we'll try. For the future of our children, we are steadfast by and by. It's only when our minds are joined with muscle we can stand and bring to birth a new world, arm in arm and hand in hand. Come gather, fellow workers, and raise your voices strong. We rise today in Winnipeg to sing our victory song. One more time. Come gather, fellow workers, and raise your voices strong. We rise today in Winnipeg to sing our victory song. Once more. Come gather, fellow workers, and raise your voices strong. We rise today in Winnipeg to sing our victory song. We rise up all around the world and sing our freedom song.
Ah, great. Great song. Thank you, Joe. That was really wonderful.
Yeah, thank you, and a shout out to our union sister Kathy Baker out on Vancouver Island, whose birthday is today. So I think Dennis has a little something here to say about that.
Yes, hand it over to Dennis Donnelly. Take it away.
All right. Good to be here. My beautiful colleague here in Victoria, BC, Canada. I've got a little song. It's a little traditional song, traditional in terms of we always sing it when somebody has a birthday in one of our choirs here in Victoria. And it's based on, the melody is the Merry Widow Waltz, which I'm sure you know. I'll sing it one time, and we always sing it twice. The lyrics are in the chat. Here we go. Happy birthday, we love you. Happy birthday, and may all your dreams come true. When you blow out the candle, one light stays aglow. That's the love light in your eyes where'er you go. Here we go again. Happy birthday, we love you. Happy birthday, and may all your dreams come true. When you blow out the candle, one light stays aglow. That's the love light in your eyes where'er you go. Happy birthday, Kathy. It's such a pleasure working with you here. Such a pleasure.
Happy
And
birthday,
may all your
Kathy.
dreams come true.
Oh, thank you for that. Is just so beautiful. My heart has just swollen and is full. Thank you so much, everyone. Wow, what a lovely way to start the day out here. Aw,
And
sweet.
for anyone who wants to join the
Oh.
birthday party, I'm putting the link in to register for our Wednesday evening sing-in. There might be even requests requested.
And
we'll
I've
have
got to
fun.
say, the amazing thing was
Oh, 10.
when on my 50th birthday, which was 10 years ago, Joe Jenks was piloted in through the wonders of technology. And from the top of our piano, he sang, at least among others, he sang a few songs, but These Hands, anyway, the first time I'd heard that. Anyway.
That was on Skype, I think, before the days of Zoom.
Yeah, that was a
Yeah.
while ago.
So,
The old days, the old technology days. Well, that was a beautiful song, beautiful rendition, Dennis. Happy birthday, Kathy. And
Thank you,
Joe, will you let us all sing that wonderful song again? Let's vote
Yeah.
and sing together.
Yeah, we'll just sing the chorus a few times, but I'm just having one of these moments where I'm imagining future generations saying, back when I was your age, all we had was Skype. You should be grateful. It's like when I look at my nieces and I talk about dialing a phone number and they're like, why do you say dial? And I'm like, okay, well, there used to be this giant object that sat on the counter. And that's pretty funny. Well, what a joy to be with all of you. I know for some of you in Ontario in particular, you've got elections coming up, ongoing now, vote by mail and other things, but they close out at the end of the month. So be sure and participate. For people
here.
in other places across the United States and Canada, there are various elections this fall. Please stay engaged. It is the first obligation of citizens in a democracy is to stay engaged, to stay aware, and to participate. So whatever your choices are, you have your reasons for making them, and it's not my place to speak to that, but please participate. The system only works if we all cast a vote and engage. So thanks for that. We'll just sing this chorus a few more times. You've got to vote. A reminder from some fifth graders about the importance of our constitutional privilege. You've got to vote. You've got to vote. Don't stand on the sidelines. Don't be remote. No, it's your right to exercise your power. So get yourself involved. Go out and vote. Go out and vote. You've got to vote. You've got to vote. Don't stand on the sidelines. Don't be remote. No, it's your right to exercise your power. So get yourself involved. Go out and vote one more time. You've got to vote. You've got to vote. You've got to vote. You've got to vote. Don't stand on the sidelines. Don't be remote. Oh no. You know it's your right to exercise your power. So get yourself involved, go out and vote. Yes, get yourself involved, go out and vote. Yes, get yourself involved, go out and vote. Thanks, everybody. Happy
thank
day
you so much.
927, I think. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Joe. That was really a real pleasure. That was wonderful. Let's everybody have a big thank you to Joe, and you can thank him even more by going to get his album. Go see his live show if you can. And I wanted to also want to say thank you to Jaden for running the tech today. And let's all wave a final goodbye to Facebook Live. Let's everybody say thank you for joining us. It's great to have
Thank you,
everyone
Facebook
on
peoples.
Facebook. Yep. Thank you, Facebook. And